I just played through Halo 2 Anniversary Edition with the catch skull turned on because it's insane. Let's rip apart the campaign and see how it holds up. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe. The game opens with a brief recap of what happened during Halo Combat Evolved, but we're getting it from the perspective of the Covenant. The elite commander couldn't hope to stop the badassery of the Master Chief, so he stripped of his command and led away by some big hairy monkeys. In Earth orbit, our big green hero gets a new suit of armor with no health bar this time. Interesting. When Johnson picks me up, I get some background on the fact that Earth has an orbital defense grid. We head on over to the most useful case of juxtaposition in a video game ever, but no one tell Miranda what I had to do to her dad. Oh, by the way, the Covenant have found Earth, so it's a good time for a lesson. Just how little does it take to establish that a character is a badass? All we need are 6 words.
Yes, sir. I need a weapon.
Beautiful. I follow Sergeant Major Johnson down some corridors to the first attempted break-in. Once we waste the little bastards up front and the big ones in back, I hammer my way through a bunch of elites, grunts, and jackals to a room that would be painful on Legendary. Luckily, it all goes well, until the Malta station blows up. I have to fight off even more boarders over in another hangar. Once I and a few Marines take care of them, the Athens blows up as well. Yeah, there's an explosive on board, isn't there? It's down the corridors, back to the armory, and through another Arbor Day celebration. After a mop-up, I head out into space for some elite slaying. Oh, I'm back inside? That was quick. Nuts, there are drones here. Naturally, I take control of an elevator and head back outside for some more ridiculous fun on the side of a giant bite me cannon. Ah, we're back in. That makes sense. I waste a small group of elites and my reward is one of the most awesome cutscenes in video game history. Yeah, it's not particularly realistic because no jetpack, but it's so jaw-droppingly cool that it doesn't matter. What's that? You're telling me that I'd need even more awesome?
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleets. Hoorah!
Perfection. Apparently, we're after the Prophet of Regret, but our little joyride is interrupted by a scarab and its massive screw-you cannon. Everyone survives this for some reason, and we make our way to a courtyard. After fighting off wave after wave of baddies, I cross into Sniper Alley. This isn't the worst part of the game by a long shot, but it's a little irritating because of an elite that pins me down. I'm greeted by a Marine. We push through Hotel Zanzibar together, destroy a dropship detachment, and take a Warthog into the tunnels. Our ride doesn't hold up very well under fire, so I switch to a Ghost. That vehicle doesn't hold up very well under sustained fire either, so I have to swap to another one before I destroy the Covenant's equipment carriers. And then the Marines get stupid. Oh well, it's easy enough to move past them and onto another awesome cutscene.
Thanks for the tank. He never gets me anything.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
I board the big green beauty and turn an entire column of Covenant armor into nothing more than slag. Then again, the tank catches fire, so I have to abandon it in the tunnels. Oh, come on! That Marine shouldn't have been anywhere near the enemy. How? Well, the laser sniper is pretty good at least. Out in a clearing, there's some Marines and a Goshawk who won't stop for anyone, so I have to deal with more Jackal snipers. Woo. Once I do that, I'm finally able to drive, but no one in maintenance took care of my ride. After a few attempts at destroying the last Wraiths, I resort to some fancy driving and let the Marines take care of it. Fortunately, the Scarab is all that's left, but then I accidentally blow myself up again. There's a checkpoint though, so it's not that big of a deal. I board the Scarab and make my way into the interior.
Careful.
Ugh. When in doubt, dual wield. There we go. When the Scarab goes down, I regroup with Johnson and my reward is another awesome cutscene. For reasons unknown, the Prophet of Regret orders a slipspace jump inside the city. Miranda thinks on her feet, gets quick permission from Lord Hood, and pushes in Ember Clad to the target. Nice. Suddenly, we cut to High Charity. The elite commander from the beginning takes a long drag to the Prophets. Apparently, they know he isn't a heretic, but he's a useful pawn. Therefore, they turn him into the Arbiter and set him loose against another elite who knows too much.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
But first, we need some religious brainwashing.
We swore to uphold the Covenant, even to our dying breath.
It's time to land and take control of the Arbiter for once, which is neat. I lead a strike team of zealots into the complex, take out a bunch of heretics, and push deeper into the facility. After an elevator ride, wait, the Sentinels are my enemies too? Huh. A little while later, I open the door to let some reinforcements in, but we're ambushed. It's not that big of a deal until I get sliced to death. Damn. Well, that means I get to turn the tables. The rest of the level is a giant slugfest to a Banshee fight out in the open, which is a ton of fun, until I get shot down by a grunt. Luckily, it's easy to fix mistakes and move on to, wait, the flutter in this out of the way place? Never you mind that though. I have to deal with the leading heretic. Or so I think. All of the sudden, my team is ambushed by the Flood. Energy swords make quick work of them, but it can get very messy. We pursue the enemy on another elevator ride and push through more two-way engagements that require no redos at all. Nope, none whatsoever. I inevitably catch up with my enemy, but he traps himself behind an energy wall. Whatever will we do to get him out of there?
The cable. I'm going to cut it.
Oh, well that's insane. I push up the ramps in another elevator to the power cables of the station. While it is a place to die hilariously, I cut the cables and make my way back down. My target flees in a Banshee, so I follow him in a frustrating segment that I bypass for the sake of my brain. It's time for more corridors, but I have to mind the explosive barrels. I eventually make my way to another hangar bay and, oh, Guilty Spark is here. Huh. What follows may be the most irritating boss fight in video game history. Although I got the leading heretic through something like dumb luck, it felt more like a chore than a knockdown drag-out fight. Tartarus captures our new Robo-Ball, but we have to see what the Chief and friends are doing.
Cortana, what exactly am I looking at? That is another Halo.
Say what?
We have to drop down from space and secure an LZ. It doesn't take too long.
Could we possibly make any more noise? I guess so.
There are a bunch of aliens who have a condition called living while genocidal religious maniacs, so I cure them of their ailment and get a warthog. I have to get out, wall up even more Covenant, and activate a bridge, but I get a tank because there are wraiths on the other side. Shouldn't we have started with that? Anyway, we're going to blast through the Covenant lines. Wonderful! The enemy flees before our might, but the tank catches on fire. Therefore, we have to abandon it and advance to one of the most difficult sections of the entire game. Why, you ask? Jackal snipers at close range. Once I make it through, I come across a Forerunner structure replete with a bunch of elite zealots. I dodged their energy blades only to discover something that should have been obvious.
That's what I thought he said. The Prophet of Regret is planning to activate Halo.
What was the point of going to Earth again? Miranda orders me to take out Regrets, so I guess we're not gonna get an answer to that. I smash through a bunch more Covenant, destroy a pair of Hunters, and get a gondola ride for my trouble. What fun. When I get to the other side, I realize that I'm being followed by a tomboy Marine.
Following your lead, Chief.
Donna survives the first firefight, but the instructions for Laura Prepon's VA session sure as hell didn't.
I'm hurt pretty bad.
Yeah, we can tell by the pain in your voice. After I waste a ton of elites and another pair of Hunters, I make it to the second underwater ride. Well, it's nice to be back out in the open air. Time to absolutely destroy more Covenant and... Whoa, that was a little bit too close for comfort. Oh hey, it's the tomboy again. I thought she died down in the underwater thingy.
Same goes Just for me.
Well, that was accidentally awesome. It's time for another gondola ride. When I arrive at Regret's hideout, the Covenant show up in force to try and screw up my plans. Therefore, I tear through a bunch of elites and just start slapping Regret silly. Now you may be saying to yourself, wait, why would the Covenant glass one of their sacred rings? Were you honestly expecting that religion would make basic sense? Never mind that, I have to get taken away by a Japanese tentacle monster. Oh, Truth withdrew the phantoms and let Regret die so he could replace the elites with brutes? Something else is going on here.
Halo, its divine wind will rush through the stars, propelling all who are worthy along the path to salvation.
Right, they want me to get the index, eh? Well, it's down the tunnels and through the sentinels to an elevator ride that seems designed to make the player irritable. Thankfully, I figure it out, and wait, there are Flood here too? Who let them out and how are there so many around? It's time for another tank level. Quarantine Zone is quite fun, but not much happens in the first half outside of tearing through some more Flood. Once I have to get out, I deal with a long platform ride full of Flood and push through a short homage to the library from the first game. To my surprise, Miranda and Johnson already made it there, but no one else did because plot. I get the drop on them, but it's a bit of a fight until Tartarus electrocutes Miranda and takes the index. Oh, the prophets told the brutes to destroy the elites? That seems like a stupid choice on their part. I guess we need to see where the weeb tentacle took us. Here's an interesting question. Did the Flood quickly create that thing, or has it been there a while? It could go either way, and it's interesting to think about. Oh, the giant creepy thing snatched Regret and the local monitor?
Stay where you are. Nothing can be done until my sermon is complete.
Not true. This installation has a successful utilization record of 1.2 trillion simulated and 1 actual. It is ready to fire on demand.
Of all the objects our lords left behind, there are none so worthless as these oracles. They know nothing of the great journey!
Does this remind you of anything? Anyway, it's time to go after the index. I crash into High Charity as it descends into civil war.
Boo.
While the opening assault is rather difficult, I push into the wider city, smash brute after brute, and rescue a bunch of Marines. Next to none of them make it out of the prison, so I slice, shoot, and hop my way through the rising crossfire. At the end of it, Tartarus takes Miranda, Johnson, and the index, but surprise, the Flood show up. For some reason, Mercy's chair defenses don't work at all, so an infection form strangles him. Of course, Truth and Tartarus do absolutely nothing because they're bastards. Unfortunately, Uprising doesn't do much for the story. It's fun to smash through the brutes, but then I get my comeuppance with the ghost segment because they never, ever run out of grenades. It's not easy, however, I push through it, hijack a Wraith, and get some sweet revenge. Oh, the Shipmaster's here. Then again, we have to move back to High Charity.
Your pal. Where's he going?
Earth, to finish what I started. And this time, none of you will be left behind.
So, Truth and Mercy know what's going on, eh? Cortana stays in the system in case our enemies become too powerful. She might have to repeat the ending of the first game, but maybe not. High Charity has some touchy segments here and there, but I'm able to bypass quite a bit of it until I run into a wall of brutes and Flood. I pound past them, skip over to the boarding beam, and make a promise to my waifu.
After I'm through with Truth.
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
It's time to return to the Arbiter, though. The drive to the control center is made easier with the quick hijacking of a Wraith, so I do just that and waste all of the brutes. I soon discover that there's a Scarab in the area. Well, this should be fun. I hammer my way through more brutes with the help of some hunters, but Johnson took the Scarab first. How did he steal that with so many brutes around? I mean, he's a badass, but it's odd. It's time to destroy a bunch of turrets, banshees, and wraiths. Once I do that, I head on over to confront Tartarus, even though it doesn't seem that Halo-y. On the other hand, the introduction to it absolutely is.
There are things about Halo even the Hierarchs do not understand.
Guilty Spark repeats what we already know, but that just makes Tartarus double down and activate the ring by Miranda's hand. The final fight isn't really that hard. Although Johnson got smacked, he shoots Tartarus 3 times with his beam rifle, which opens the boss up to my weapons. Rinse and repeat until he goes down. At the very least, Miranda gets her heroine moment when she leaps down and pulls the index. That's nice. Delta Halo doesn't fire, and we learn that its failure primed all of them for remote activation from the Ark. We close as the Forerunner ship makes it to Earth. As the battle rages on, Lord Hood discovers what true heroism really means.
You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Wait, that's it? Oh, it isn't.
I will ask, and you will answer.
All right. Shoot.
Okay, that's it. In all seriousness, it is absolutely miraculous that Halo 2 turned out as well as it did. Although the story has a few hiccups here and there, it may be one of the first examples of how games can be art. The Arbiter's journey from xenophobia and religious zealotry to enlightenment is the main reason why. That kind of character arc could have backfired spectacularly in the wake of the global war on terrorism, but Bungie did it with style. With that said, Halo 2's gameplay is a clear refinement of the original as well. This is the title that introduced fully regenerating health, dynamic dual wielding, and destructible vehicles to the masses. As long as you don't play on Legendary, those 3 innovations compel the player to think on the fly as only a super soldier can. And sure, the boss fights are imperfect, but they don't destroy the whole effort. Not by a long shot. The cherry on top of this joyous package has to be the amazing remaster. Although the original graphics were great for their time, the new visuals and cinematics make the whole experience feel like an interactive movie. What could be better than that? GG. I'll see you next time.